I want anyone who's been through what I've been through or anything similar to know this. It's time to take your power back. It's time to find your voice. It's time to start being happy and living again. This isn't about them. It isn't about anyone else. This is about you. Finding your voice, keeping it, and never letting anyone silence it again. It's about reclaiming your power, loving yourself, and living your life to the fullest. Hey YouTube, I'm Indigo. Welcome to my channel. Um, so I wanted to continue my story. This is my vlog um, about my life, part two. And I hope you guys just go on this journey with me, continue this journey with me. So I left off where I was talking about, a lot of things going on from the ages of 5 to 6. And, so I'm going to speed up to get to 7. This is when my mom, and my sister finally moved from the shelter. She had got a notice, because I never forget, we were at, in the living room, and she got a notice, she got a letter, and she was so happy, like, oh, we finally get our own place, apartment and everything like that. So I'm like, yay, like I'm like, we have a roof over our head here. But in my mind, like I said, as as a kid, uh we get to, we moved, well, we went to see the place first, and that was our first time, like, having to live up high. We had to move to the 12th floor in Coney Island, in one of the buildings in Coney Island. um and yeah, uh we went to see the place, she liked it and everything. Long story short, we moved in, and that's where um we we discovered, physically saw, my mom abusing drugs. I just know that, I'm not even sure if I knew it was drug. No, I knew it was. I believe I knew it was drugs, because she had a plate. She had a plate, and her boyfriend, the one that she used to always see around the corner, and they was together for a long time. Uh, they engaged, and yeah, uh, there was a plate. I'm thinking, because you know um I don't want to hurt anyone with my with telling my story, but at the same time, this is my story, this is my truth, this is the truth. So I'm not mentioning any names, so but people who know me will know who I'm talking about. And I hope it doesn't hurt anyone. This is not intended to hurt anyone. This is intended for me to take back my power and tell my truth and my story. So, like I said, we had stairs in the apartment. I think they called them duplexes. I'm not sure, inside the apartment. And then so on the way down the stairs, there was like this little triangle window where you could see into the kitchen. So one day I was sneaking down the stairs. That's when I saw my mom with the plate. She had a plate with fire on it, and like cotton, and I seen her with like a glass pipe, and and she realized that I was there. She was like, go upstairs," smoke coming out her mouth and everything, you know. And it just was crazy to me. And I'm like, what? And I told my sister, like, yeah, she had fire on the plate, you know, and but anywho, we um yeah, that was like the first time I seen her, and my mother was a beautiful woman, nice hair, mid shoulder, dressed nice, nice shape, everything, and all of that went out the window. But so I can remember, after the guy that she was dealing with, he finally had enough, and he told my mom it was either him or the drugs. My mom chose the drugs, and he was gone from there. So as time went on, things got bad, worse. My grandmother was no longer there. My grandmother ended up getting her own place, and the uncles went with her. Bums, but yeah, it just got worse from there. I remember, and this is another time, which is crazy to me, and I don't to this day understand. But I remember, when she finally got us settled in school and then registered for school and everything like that, a couple of weeks later, um, I guess I don't know if I was sick and I was supposed to stay home and go to the doctor, or I don't know, but my sister was in school and I was home. And I remember my mother saying, I'll be back, don't open the door for anybody, just sit here, be quiet, I'll be back. Now this time I'm about 8. I want to say 7, 8. Yeah. Somewhere around them. And I fell asleep. I took a nap because she was taking too long, and I woke up and she still wasn't there. Now she told me I wasn't dressed because she was supposed to be getting me dressed, and I'm looking out the window and I'm just like, "Where is she?" I'm crying. I'm crying. I'm throwing seeds at the window because I was eating sunflower seeds, and I'm just crying and everything like that. Like, where is she at? Stupid. I'm mad because I'm like, why am I here by myself? Where is she? And then she comes to the door like a few minutes later, and then she's like, "Oh, I forgot you was here," and laughing, and she's laughing. I forgot you were here, and I'm just thinking to myself, I was scared. That wasn't. That's not funny, you know. Anyway, wherever I was supposed to go, I didn't go. She came back, and I found out that she was at um a friend that she made out in Coney Island house, who also did drugs. So that was, as you can see, it was priority. Um, Getting older, getting used to just, being out. I want to say I'm around 10, 11 around this time because, years went on. And, you know, just drugs. It just became worse. She started having so many people in and out the house, men, especially men. There was different men. We had different uncles. We had one uncle. He would come. He would buy ice cream and cake and give us $5 a piece. And then my mom and him would go upstairs, and we wouldn't see them. But me and my sister, we was like, we got ice cream and cake and $5 a piece. So not really getting into like, oh, you know what's going on. But anywho, so that was one of our uncles. Call him Uncle G. And then it was, another uncle, and he would come over, and like I said, it was quite a few uncles. They would come, bring pizza, different things, and la 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 la. And oh yeah, the boyfriend that so called left her because he said it was drugs or her was still coming over too. Yeah, he was still coming over too. But like I said, there was times where my mother would have so much going on in the house. Like if I would go outside and then come back, I wouldn't be able to get back in the house because there'd be so many people. I don't know what was going on this one time, but I was knocking on the door and she told me to come back later. Yeah, my mother told me I said I could just go upstairs, and she was like, come back later. I don't know what that was about. I sat in the hallway and I cried. I sat in the hallway and I cried because I just didn't understand. Sorry. And this girl from around the corner, young lady, older than me, of course, teenager, And I guess my hair looked a mess because she was like, "You want me to do your hair?" And I was just like, "No," like because that's the least of my problems. I can't get into my house. And then I don't know if I went anywhere. I might have went around the corner, I believe, to one of my childhood friend houses, apartments, because um, you know, it's crazy because I would be able to go to some of my friends' houses. And to this day, I'm so grateful because they would feed me. They would feed me. I was like a loner. They would feed me. So I was very appreciative of them. And the crazy thing is, one of my friends, one of my good friends, her mother was on drugs too, but she wasn't. The drugs didn't have her. She was. See, so I call like let's say crack users. I call someone you're a user. You use drugs, but then you have abuser. My mother was a abuser. She was a crackhead. The my friend's mother was a crack user. So and what I mean by that is she didn't sell her children's things, games, video games, clothes, sneakers, like my mom did. She didn't neglect feeding her children like my mom did. She went to work. She kept her hair up. Her kids had chores. They had food in the house. They would go to the salon, things like that. And thank God she even got clean at one point in time, and stayed clean. So thank and her children went on to be, wonderful people, a teacher, one of was basketball, things like that. So yeah, I'm really appreciative and grateful for friends like her. Anywho, got in the house, whatever the case may be. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, there was one time um some people would come to the house and a man would come to the house. He would get high and become paranoid. So me and my sister started playing. We didn't want these people in our house. We started like throwing teddy bears at him. And he would run out the house. So we knew we could get him out. She had one guy, big guy. He would come to the house, and he would get high and start like whacking out, bugging out. I think he would have a seizure or something like that, then fall on the floor, but then he started throwing at chairs and my mother would have to like hurry up and get him out the house. But it was nothing off limits. So this is the trauma. This is what we were living through. You know, Men come to the house, and it was one man that she dated, and he was in some type of service, but I know he was on drugs. Like I don't know, I want to say the army because the fatigue, I believe that was the army. So, but he would come to the house, and I assume they were doing drugs. They might have been sleeping together. I'm not sure, but when you come to the door, right, and I would answer the door, he would always look at me and smile and just the most disgusting feeling used to come over me, to the point where I stopped answering the door for him. I stopped answering the door every time he would come. Mind your friend at the door. I would not. I would not. Yeah, I stopped answering the door for him because I don't know. God forbid one day my mother wasn't home, that I wouldn't be sure what them eyes and that smile would become. So yeah, those were some times, along with abuse as well. We still was getting physically abused. I remember one time she was downstairs and she was smoking joints, and we didn't have food. So um her friend was supposed to come and bring her money. So she was saying she was going to get us something to eat, some Chinese food today. Yeah, we're going to get Chinese food. So he was just taking a long time. And I kept asking her, like, yeah, is he coming? Is he coming? Because we're hungry. It's nighttime by this time. He was supposed to be there. I remember it was light outside. And then it's nighttime by this time. So I'm like, is he coming? And she, and then she got so mad. at me the last time, and she just chased me up the stairs because, like I said, we had stairs in the apartment, and she chased me up the stairs and stuff, and then she beat me. She beat me. She took a belt and beat me, and everything like that. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but you know, I was hungry. I'm a kid, so like I said, it just, I don't get it. There was times, what's crazy. I remember my grandmother telling me this story, you know. So, well, okay, so let me just say this. We would eat grits every day. Grits, that was the meal. Now, and they also had something called chicken back. Back then, you can get 5 pounds of chicken back for $1. So, that was the meal. So altogether, we probably had like a $2 meal, $3 meal, all day, unless, you know, um, I go to a friend's house and everything like that. And it's crazy because I'm wondering because I don't remember my sister being there like that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she was with different friends, or was I think matter of fact she was with different friends than I was at that time. And yeah, uh, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry, but oh, so with the after a while, right? My grandmother started giving her money and things like that. But my grandmother, we wasn't seeing nothing still. At that time, my grandmother, she had a nice job and she would come over. I remember it was a birthday. She brought ice cream cake and, gave us money and brought food and stuff. And that was so nice and stuff like that. But one day my grandmother stopped giving her money and it was me and my sister started going down to my grandmother's job to get money for food. And I later found out that my grandmother found out that my mother was on drugs, so that's why she stopped giving her money and she gave it to us too. And guess how I found this out? Because one of my mother's drug addict female friends got mad because my mother went down to my grandmother's job. She went with her, but my mother wouldn't give her money for drugs. And so she told my grandmother that my mother was on drugs and wasn't using the money to buy us food. Ain't that something? So she didn't do it because my mother was neglecting us. She did it because she wasn't getting food. I mean, she wasn't getting money for her drugs. She didn't give a damn about us. So yeah. So this was like just growing up and then thinking about it, just trying to be strong. Trying to be strong, trying to persevere, trying to continue on through all of this trauma, being bullied. I remember one of her girlfriends, let's just call her Miss S, right? I drew a picture. At that time, I wanted attention so bad that I would just, every time, um, like female friends would come over, I would, draw a picture or, try to make it crack a joke or something. And I drew a picture and I brought it down to Miss S and I was like, look at, and she was like, that is so ugly. Ew, ew. You don't know how to draw. And then she was like, look at your big eyes. And her and my mother stood there laughing. I don't know why my mother found that funny. When I tell you I was crushed, humiliated, that was, I believe, the start of me not using my voice. And I apologize. A lot of these videos, I might get a little emotional because, you know, I am in therapy and everything. I've been in therapy for years. Let's just start there. But sometimes, certain things hit a certain way. But yeah, that was just crazy to me. Like, you allowed your grown adult friends to bully me, you know, and yeah, so it's just and, it's just incredible the stuff I lived through.